Hi. Well, as you can see, the studio is starting to come together. There's a record case that I built. It's got records in it, and there's another one over here that you can't see, which is holding more records. But there are still boxes around, so it's still very much a work in progress. But we're getting there. And since Labor Day weekend is coming up, it got me thinking about, well, that's the dog days of summer. It's sort of the official end of summer. And what a weird summer it's been with COVID and now the Delta variation of COVID. But I decided that, okay, let's think about summer for a minute and let's try to lighten the mood a little bit. So when you think of summer, what are the images that come to your mind? Is it the beach? Driving with the top down? Doing nothing? Or all of the above? In this episode, I'm going to talk about the sounds of summer that have stuck with me. And some of them go back to the early 60s or even earlier than that. So if you want to find out what they are, let's drop the needle. At the number 10 spot of my favorite summer songs is this one. Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini, recorded in 1960 by Brian Hyland, who was only 16 years old at the time. It reached number 1 on the charts, and you can never forget these lyrics. But Brian Hyland had another hit 2 years later with Sealed with a Kiss. But Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini, yeah, that's his summer hit. Our next big summertime hit, number 9 on my list, it was recorded in 1958 by Eddie Cochran, and of course, it's Summertime Blues. Over the years, Summertime Blues has been covered by a number of artists. Here's just a few. The Beach Boys recorded it on their first album, Surfin' Safari, in 1962. In 1964, it was covered by the Hepstarts, which was a Swedish band that starred a very young Benny Andersson before he formed ABBA. In 1967, Blue Cheer recorded a very loud and distorted version. And in 1977, The Who recorded Summertime Blues on their great Live at Leeds album. T-Rex recorded a version in 1970 as the B-side to the hit single Ride a White Swan. And Alan Jackson had a country hit with it in 1994, becoming number 1 on the country charts. So which version of Summertime Blues do I like best? Well, I really like the Who's version at Live at Leeds, but I'm going to stick with the original. So at number 9, it's Eddie Cochran and Rock On Eddie, Summertime Blues indeed. For our number 8 summer hit, I'm going to go with the English band Mungo Jerry and their Breezy in the Summertime. You can kind of say that Mungo Jerry was a one-hit wonder, but this is a great one hit. Now we get to number 7, and it was recorded in 1963. And it wasn't really a rocker, but it's still a great summer hit. The song was sung by Nat King Cole. And of course, it's the lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer. Now, no list of summer hits would be complete without a trip out to California. This was released in 1963 by the Safaris. It's a surfing song. It's called Wipeout. And yeah, it has the drum solo that every drummer in every band that came afterwards had to learn how to play. Let's stay in sunny Southern California for a little bit longer as we start now into our top 5 summer hits. And the first one is the classic California Girls by the Beach Boys. It was released in 1965, and it's one of their biggest hits. And of course, it spawned a number of covers, including Katy Perry and David Lee Roth. And it was also the inspiration for the Beatles to create Back in the USSR. For our next 2 hot summer hits, we're going to jump from LA all the way to swingin' London. Now, when you think of England, you don't necessarily think of hot fun in the summertime, but there are a couple of really great summer hits that came out of swingin' London. And the first is by the Kinks and it's sunny afternoon. It was written by Ray Davies in 1967, and it tells the story of a bored aristocrat wasting away on a sunny afternoon. For number 3 on our countdown of summer hits, we'll stay in London. And, of course, it's the Fab Four. It's 1965, and they're recording that great album, Revolver. And the song is Good Day Sunshine. Oh, and by the way, in 2005, McCartney actually played it live to wake up the crew of the International Space Station. As we used to say back then, far out. But we can't stay in space for our last 2 songs, or even in London. We're going to go back across the pond and visit both coasts of the U.S. And for our number 2 song, I've mentioned it before in a previous episode, it's The Warm California Sun by the Rivieras. It was recorded in 1964. And although it is about California, the Rivieras were actually from South Bend, Indiana, and they recorded the song during a very chilly winter in Chicago. So now we arrive at my number 1 summer hit song. Now, I know you know that I'm a big Beatle fan, and I'm sure you're all going, okay, Bernie, we figured this out. You're going to go with Here Comes the Sun. That's a great song, but that is not my number 1 pick, because even though George wrote it in Eric Clapton's garden, and the sun was coming out from a long, cold winter, yeah, it was written in the springtime. So it's not really a summer hit. So what is my number 1 summer hit song? It was recorded in 1966 in New York City. Yep, it's Summer in the City by the Lovin' Spoonful. It is a tremendous track, and every time I hear it, it just brings back all of those feelings about summertime. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. And enjoy the summer weather while you still can. Be safe. And also, I'd like to know what your number 1 summer song is. Leave it in the comments down below. It would be fun to read. In the meantime, we're headed into fall. I guess I'll have to start mulling over fall songs and see what comes to mind. In the meantime, keep a rockin'. If you liked this episode, hit the like button, and you can also leave me a comment down below, and I'll respond to you. If you subscribe, we'll let you know when future episodes come out.